All right.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Moving Forward Talk with Diana. Let me first thank all the supporters, each and everyone who have continuously watched our episodes. And let me apologize for not having any episode within the past few weeks. But this week, we have a very dear friend of mine, a cohort, and one of my motivational partners. And with this lady, the list goes on and on and on. Dr. Judith Small Ben. I met her almost 11 years ago. And this is how we met. We were standing in the line in a hotel in Jacksonville. That was our second residency. And she looked over at me and said, Walden. And I said, yes. And the rest is history. And I alluded to her in my book. So for those of you who read my book, and I spoke about Judith, who, when I was at the lowest point financially, she drove all the way from Georgia to pick me up to take me to Miami to our third residency. And that I will always be grateful for. Dr. Sumal Ben, it's a pleasure to have you on Moving Forward talking to Diane.
Thank you very much. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm glad to be here. Finally, I promised
Absolutely.
you that once I got my degree, I will come on the show.
Yes.
So,
And I didn't want to mention it yet, but she mentioned it. But she's going to tell us the process because, like I said, I've met her in 2010, I believe it was, right? 2010.
the end of 2000. No, I think it was we met in the beginning of 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, because we started in 2010.
Yes. And at that time, we both had just started, not too, we weren't too far in the program and doing our second residency. And between then and her completing the PhD program, she had a lot of barriers. She had a lot of setbacks. We all did, but she didn't give up. She continued, and it reminds me, and I don't know the scripture, but the race is not for the swift, but those who endure to the end.
And amen.
So I want you to tell us some of the struggles that you had experienced, some of the barriers, and share some of the strategic tools that you use to assist you to complete this program.
Okay, when at first, I didn't start at Walden. I started at the University of Phoenix in the what is it, the doctoral program there,
Mhm.
and I did it for a year, but I wasn't very happy with the way things were. I didn't really like it, so and I did a little more research and I narrowed it down to Capella University and Walden, and then eventually the more I read about Walden and their
Mhm.
mission and their values, the more it reached out to me. So I chose Walden, and that's how I ended up going to Walden. So I did the classes, the first classes, and I did the first residency, and I was doing okay, And then, like you said, we met going to our second residency,
Mhm.
and I was moving forward, and I expected to be done in like 5 years, but um the classes itself, they weren't hard. Well, not to me. I was always good at doing classes. So I
Right.
was able to go through that. But then we had to start doing the prospectus, which is choosing your topic to write on,
Mhm.
and given certain things. And you have to choose your committees at that time. So I found my committee members with no problem. And, I got my chairperson and my my committee member, no problem. Started off with that chairperson, and after trying to contact her, after a while, I realized I wasn't getting any response from her. So I kept emailing, emailing, emailing. Then one day I got a email from her saying that she's no longer with Walden.
Oh
Just
man.
like so, here I am now. I'm like, what do I do? I have to go through the whole process of finding another chairperson, which, as you know, is very tenuous because you
Yes.
have to keep approaching all these faculty members and you have to hope they have space to take you on. So, anyway, after a couple of months, I was eventually able to get a second chair.
Mhm.
So, I worked with her for a while and we got the prospectus approved and everything. So, I started working on my proposal. So I did, a couple of drafts of the but let me tell you, I had a struggle with this doctoral writing. It is a whole complete different way of writing.
Tell me about it. I'm serious. I know because I would write and I would submit in my chair. And I'm thinking to myself, when she returned my document to me, she started thinking, where is she from? It is a different writing style.
Yeah, because you cannot put your opinion. Everything that you say has to be documented and
Right,
it has to come from research.
right.
You can give your opinion on on the research. Is all strictly based on the research. That's
Hmm.
number one. Then number two, you have to write in a scholarly tone.
Yes.
I don't think I understand what scholarly tone is to this day because I was always a good writer.
Hmm.
My English, and writing, I was always a good writer. I was always getting my A's and stuff in whatever I write. Here I come now, and everything is coming back. Please use scholarly tone.
Please, where is your scholarly tone? Is what I was asked at one point.
Uh, and I'm like, scholarly tone, what is that? Because writing is writing, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Anyway, I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. Then I stopped hearing from this chairperson. And I'm like, what is going on? So, then this is like about 4 years into the program, 3, 4 years in. Then I got a email from the head of the department, from the dean,
Hmm.
saying that, they have to put us in a different thing because she got a heart attack.
Man.
Oh, yes. I mean, and I loved her. She was so good with me.
Yeah.
But here I am now again, having to get another chairperson. But this time, they chose my chairperson for me.
Hmm.
So I went along, I met him, of course online, and I started working with him, and he's like, oh, your writing is very good, you're doing very good, this and that and the other. And I'm like, okay, I can work with him. Then about a year after dealing with him, he was like, he gave me a U one semester. I'm like, a U for what? Oh, you didn't write
Unsatisfactory.
enough this semester. Huh? Yeah,
Unsatisfactory.
yeah. For the semester. He was like, oh, you didn't write enough this semester. So, you know, okay, I said, okay, well, maybe I'll write a little more. So I
Hmm.
wrote some stuff, because I'm working on my proposal now. So you know what,
Right.
we working on your, especially chapter two.
Yes.
You know, when you have to get all the research.
Chapter two probably took me every bit of a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm working on chapter two. I'm working on chapter one. I didn't even start to think about chapter three, and I'm, doing my writing and stuff. The next semester, he gave me a U again and suggested I leave the program. So I'm like, what happened to all this? My writing is so good and
Yeah.
everything. What's going on here? But I wouldn't say unlike what I suspected was going on. But I'll
Right.
tell you. we started having he started having a group of us online, and my name don't really match my ethnicity.
Right.
Right. So you can't really tell from my name
Right.
who I am.
Hmm.
And I suspected when he saw who I was, it was a shock to him.
Okay.
And he didn't want to work with me anymore.
More. Yes.
So, I started, I wrote the dean, I wrote this one, and they told me that I could protest.
Hmm.
Because, after 2 years, you have to sit out.
Right. Hmm.
Right. So, I spoke at my what was that? The student advisor,
Hmm.
they were called. Yeah, the one that was assigned to work with me. He was wonderful. He would like me. I can't tell you what to do,
Hmm.
but if I was you, I would do this and I would do that and I would do that.
I love those kind of individuals.
Yes. So, I wrote my letters of protest. I did what I had to do. I got all my information together. And when, he checked it out, he said, don't mention anything about him.
Right.
Mention all that you have done to get to this point. And he made me rewrite it and he told me, what I needed to have in there and all that stuff. So eventually they brought me back and they put, I was brought back, but on probation.
Hmm.
So I had to sit out that semester and then I came back on probation. So at first I was going back to him.
Hmm.
So when I called him and I said, I'm on probation and I'm back now, and he was like, he suggested that I work with somebody else.
Right.
So here I am looking for chairperson number 4. So that's when I spoke to you and you said, you have a wonderful chairperson. Try her.
M- My chair was off. My
Yes.
chair was
Yes.
awesome. She's up until today. Every so often, I send her a little text message, and she still replies.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, so I emailed her, on contact. She was like, yeah, sure. She said, I just had some students leave, so I have an opening. So
Hmm.
I said, thank you, Lord. And I started working with her. And I
Hmm.
mean, and that was turnaround at Walden. And she worked with me and and she was not, like, she never spoke down to me
Hmm.
or anything, if she had something to say, she just, said it, and she was very down to earth, matter of fact.
Hmm.
I got through, and a matter of fact, she made a couple of suggestions that kind of steered me towards the right way,
Right.
so she worked with me and worked with me and worked with me, and eventually here I am today, finally done.
But let me go back because coming up to the point where it's discouragement after discouragement after discouragement has to be discouraging going through the different cheers. They
Hmm.
all have different expectations. They all have different writing styles. So I know it is frustrating. Did you feel like, look, this is it? Or did you just in your mind saying, no matter what, I'm going
Mm-mm.
to continue?
Lots of times I was ready to give up. I was really ready to give up because I'm like, maybe this is not for me. you know? And you would tell me, come on, Judith, let's go. You could do it. you know. And then I think about my kids. I don't want my kids to see me giving up.
Yes.
So we have to be examples for them.
Hmm.
And God, I always believe in black women being educated.
Right.
We
Hmm.
have that extra hurdle that we have to cross. So we need that extra education
Hmm.
to survive, just to survive, not even to
Just
get ahead, to survive.
just to survive. And
Survive.
it's so true because earlier on in life, and sometimes even now, when you hold conversation and you realize that some folks think that us as black women, we're not supposed to earn a certain level of education.
Mhm.
We're always supposed to be stuck at the beginning stage. And I don't know where that mindset comes from, we should not entertain that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
We should not entertain that. Apart from that, apart from the struggles with the writing and with the cheers, and you also have some other struggles if you wish to talk about it. Some illness, some physical struggles.
Oh yeah. During that time, that's when I was diagnosed with osteoarthritis.
Hmm.
So I had different surgeries. I had two knee replacements
Hmm.
and one hip replacements. And then I had a lot of other surgeries along like, you know, my gallbladder, they had to remove it and it was a difficult surgery, so I was in the hospital for a week.
Yeah,
I had a lot of illnesses because, full-fledged diabetes uncontrolled,
yeah,
so it's like cataracts. I had to, replace my lens.
yeah,
So it was a lot of health issues, and I mean, it was a struggle, but I guess I'm determined, and I don't like to lose. So,
don't. You know what? I remember talking to Henry. Uh, Rest in peace, Henry. You know what? I had became so close to Henry, just as I am to you.
mm,
Only met him that once in Jacksonville. Never met him. Never ever see him again.
mm,
But we would always talk on the phone. Would always encourage each other. And one day he called me up. He said, "Bet I am done." I said, "What? Done with what?" And he said that I'm tired of I'm tired of getting my document back. The moment I think I'm one step closer, I don't know what my chair is saying. And I said,
mm,
Henry, you're not done. All three of us will complete this program.
mm.
And he said that is the one sentence, all three of us will complete this program, that actually motivated him. Every time he felt like giving up, he remembered all three of us will complete this program.
Yeah, but I remember when you finished
Yeah.
and you graduated, and I was like, yes, good. I'll be good.
I'll be next. Yeah.
And then you told me Henry's done. I said, well, I'll definitely be next.
Yes,
Definitely be doing this.
because it's like we all started somewhere close in proximity and we know we had to finish. And the thing about it is not to compare, but I told myself that when I sit back now and look at it, it's not who completed first. It's just the fact that we all got to the
We all
finish
completed,
line.
yes. Yes.
Because you had more barriers than I did. Because I had one surgery between that time, only one, no, two, but I had two surgeries between that time. And it was so that both surgeries was during my 2 weeks break. So I really didn't have to miss anything. And now let's go back to trying to get to the third residency.
Mm.
When you called me up and said, Diana, where you staying? Because I learned from you the first residency we haven't met yet, and I paid all this money and stayed on the campus.
Mm.
Now the second, the second residency, by then I learned, nope, find you something within close proximity
Mm.
because it would be less expensive. And I can't remember who told me about the one in Jacksonville. But by the time we get to the third and fourth, I had already learned from you. Don't stay in campus. But the third residency, when you called me up and said, "Where you staying?" And I read it and I said, "I registered." But first, I have to worry about how I'm getting there. Not even where I'm staying, but how I'm getting there because I have one car and I have to leave my car with Tiffany for my kids to get back and forth to school. And you were just like, "Well, I can pick you up." And I said, "Are you thinking right now? Because are you gonna drive from Georgia coming to Florida this way, out the way, right?" And you were like, "Just get ready. When I be there, make sure you're ready." What was going through your mind that day? I know it's been some years ago.
Let's go. So let's go.
Let's go. I know
Yeah,
it's been.
that's me, the type of person I am. If if I could do something, I'd do it.
Yes,
I just get up and go. Let's go. It's
right.
no, I believe there's an answer to every problem, and I
There
will
is.
find it. I will work until I find it. I don't believe there's like one time I asked my husband to do something, and he was like, "Well, I never did this before, and I can't." I said, I feel I could build a house with my two bare hands." He was like, "You crazy?" I said, "No. If I tell myself I could do it, I'll do it. I'll get it done." And I think that's when I was just diagnosed with the other form, rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes.
I have a problem with my hands. I can't hold stuff. I say, even with these hands, I feel I could build a house with these two hands. Just
Yeah.
because if I put my mind to it, I could do it.
Mhm.
And that's the type of person I am. So when you said, you couldn't get there, oh, so let's go. I could get there.
But you remember, not only did you provide me transportation though, you also said, and I know a place that you can stay. You can stay with us because I'm renting a whole 3 bedroom place, and you can stay there too.
That was that the year that my sister turned 40 and we
I
was in Miami?
no, but I don't think she was in Miami, or was she coming? But she had this timeshare when she worked for that
Oh, yeah, right.
yes,
Yeah, the other sister. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and she was able to get it for you. But right then, you was like, "You're welcome to stay over here too."
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
you know what?
let's go.
And I really, really appreciate that because, listen, that also contributed to my completion of the program.
Hmm.
Because guess what? If I didn't complete residency three, there would have been absolutely no way that I would have gone on to residency four.
Hmm.
So that also contributed to my completion. So what are you doing now that you have completed, and it took you maybe 4 more years than you had expected or that you had anticipated? Share that reaction with us when you are finally told Dr. Judith Small Ben,
Yes. I mean,
welcome.
at first I didn't realize they were talking to me. You know, but the first time they said it was at residency 4.
Yes,
And they said, they call us prospective doctors. And they
right.
started calling us prospective Dr. Smallman.
Yeah.
But when I did my final oral presentation,
Hmm.
and they told me yes, it was approved and everything, and they said, well, congratulations, Dr. Smallman. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
What? Nah. And I kept waiting for the ball to drop and something else to happen. But that didn't happen, and
Yeah.
everything went so smoothly after that.
You know what? When I did my final oral presentation, that was the time I was going through my little, what should I call it now? I was going through my phase of hurt with
Mm,
my son's diagnosis.
mm,
And I remember I was telling my chair that I know I've been scheduled, but I can't do it. So I
mm,
reached out to her. I didn't want to do it at that time because I am thinking there's no way that it would be approved at this point because I'm not focused on it.
right.
And she said, we have been doing this for years. Remember, it took me 8 years. She said,
Mm,
we have been doing this for years. And yes, you're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when I was done presenting and walked away from the phone as they asked to walk away and check back within a few minutes so that they can dialogue. And when I came back to the phone and here, welcome Dr. Diana Clark, I had that feeling too. I was lost for words. I'm thinking, huh, ma'am? Yeah,
Yes.
ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yes, welcome. And sometimes Dr. Small Ben, because I'm tempted to say Judith. And before I get off, I know I'm going to say Judith. I say Diana because that's what we're used to. But you know what? Sometimes even that sense of fulfillment takes precedence over not even earning a dollar from your PhD.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even that one moment of it's finally here. I'm finally,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I have earned this title to my name, which a
Yes.
lot of people, which I'm not title driven at all, but which a lot of people will never ever recognize you as that title that you have so rightfully
Mm-hmm.
earned. Don't bother me. But once you have earned it, as my grandmother would always say, once you earn a little education, can't no one take it from you.
They can't take it from me. Yep.
No, it cannot be taken.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
I would say, I used to tell her my mother, she was like, what you gonna do with all them degrees? I said, lay it across my tombstone when I die.
it's yours, right? They're yours.
And you know, my aunt, she's
Uh-huh.
5 years older than me.
Yeah.
So you know, I just turned 60, so she's 65. And she just got her master's degree. And I'm like, so what you gonna do with it now? She was like, I'll give it up to God.
Give it up to God. Yes.
Yeah, because at 65, she ain't looking for no job now. But it's just the accomplishment that you did this.
Yes. And I have met a lot of individuals who pursue degrees after retirement,
Hmm.
after retiring age. So it is just for that fulfillment. This is their purpose. Before I depart from this earth, I would like to. And
Hmm.
comes what may, they're going to accomplish that goal. It was just this Friday, I think I was saying to a young man, I said, labor for learning before you grow old, for learning is better than silver and gold. Silver and gold vanish away, but a
Hmm.
good education will never decay. And
Hmm.
that's something I learned from back home in school. And he looked at
Hmm.
me crazy because I guess he had never heard it. And I told him, I said, one day I will explain it to you.
Like my son,
So,
he's in
yeah.
he's supposed to be in his last year.
Hmm.
Well, he has been in his last year for well 2 years now. But he keeps failing every semester. He fails a class.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and he said, "You don't understand the struggle." I said, "Theodore, you're 22 years old. You have no children. You live in my house.
Yeah.
What struggle?" I said, "I have been going to school for a long, long time. I raised three children, had numerous surgeries.
Hmm.
I've never missed a basketball game. And
Right.
he played basketball. He started off doing basketball and swimming. And then when he started high school, you had to choose one. And he chose basketball, which he was a better swimmer. To
Right.
me, he was one further with swimming. But you let them choose their
Hmm.
passion. His passion was always basketball. I mean, he worked at it. That boy will get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go meet his trainer and work.
Right.
And when I
Awesome.
say he would get up, that means I have to take him.
Hmm.
I have never missed a game. I've been on every committee in the school, you know, and even up to when he played in college, because he played a year of college.
Right.
And I've never missed a game. I was right there. The coaches know me. Everybody
Yeah.
know me. I'm there with my walker. I'm there. Oh, I forgot the two carpal tunnel surgeries that I had too. So I'm
Yeah.
there working with my walker with one hand and the other hand bandaged up from carpal tunnel surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, so what struggles? I said, and I'm done. You know, when I was doing my master's, you all were little. And I
Mhm.
did it. I worked a full-time job. I went to school after, came home, dealt with y'all, then dealt with my homework and went to bed. I
Mhm.
said, so I don't understand what you're telling me about struggles. When he was born, I was doing I was doing a bachelor's, an associate degree.
Mhm.
I had switched I started off doing nursing and then I just couldn't take it. So the semester before I was to graduate, I
Mhm.
switched to accounting. And he was born, I was working for FedEx, but I had put in an application for NYPD.
Right.
And I did that in like about 5 years before that. I had put in an application for NYPD,
Yeah.
and, but I was working for FedEx. So I was on maternity leave with FedEx. Had him 1 week. Went to school with him in his little thing when he was
Mhm.
a week old to finish because NYPD had called me and I had to move back to New York. I was living in New Jersey then. So I had this week old baby in school with me every day, trying to finish up so that at the end of the summer, I could go to start going to New York
Mhm.
to do this new job. So I asked him, I said, what struggles? And I had an 8 year old at home and a 16-year-old at home because
Mhm.
my children are 8 years apart.
Right.
I was always raising children. So I got my associates, then I went to my bachelor's, then I did my master's, then I did the PhD.
Right.
So I've been going to school for all their life. So
Me
I asked
too.
him, what struggle? And you are 22 years old. I said, I am 16. I'm just finishing school.
Mhm.
What struggle?
But did he explain the struggle?
His struggle is life. He has to work and he has to go out with his friends and he has to find time to do the homework. And I have a social life. I said I always had a social life too, but I just made my social life you.
But you know
So
what
we're
though?
the basketball moms.
It's taking him a little bit longer than you would want.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you set a great example that you will not quit.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there are setbacks and even though you have failed, I'm not going to allow you to quit.
Right. And
Yeah.
he wants to finish. It's just that he hasn't gotten his priorities too straight yet. But he's 22,
Yeah.
so.
And they think a little bit different right now than even than when I was 22.
Mm-hmm. It's
But I think,
a whole different ball game now.
but I guess, and I said that when I was 22, I already had a child and he has no responsibility. So it's a different perspective.
Mhm.
Because at
Yeah,
22,
I'm a pretty good at it.
I'm a mother at 22, so I'm thinking it's not just me now, it's me and my daughter over here. So I have to do what I need to do. So I introduced you as a very dear friend. We know we cohort together, we
Mhm.
motivate each other, but also as a dear friend. And I've known you as a friend from the day we met. But let me say this, the day you came to our first motivational summit,
Oh, okay.
everybody was like to me, that's a true friend. Like she came all the way down from Georgia to just see what you're doing in the community. That is a true friend. And you know what? And I appreciate
You did
that
a
so
good
much.
job too. I liked what you did.
Yes. And I appreciate that because sometimes all you need is a little bit of encouragement.
Hmm.
Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect.
Hmm.
And when you try to do these little activities to motivate our young people, the summit may not have been perfect because there's always room for improvement.
Right.
But when someone can support you while you're on the ground, it's very commendable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even though I have told you thank you prior, so I want to say thank you in front of the world for whoever watches this video.
You are most welcome anytime.
Yes. And so, no, this pandemic though, kind of none of us visit each other for a good minute, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna just jump on the plane one day. I like,
Well, listen, you better hurry up because I told you I'm going up. I'm
and
leaving.
I can't. Now this is the woman. I'm just gonna tell your business out here. This is my friends, guys, that work so hard and she accomplished what she wanted accomplished here. And then she called me up and said, Diana, yes, I'm retiring. I'm moving back home. Thinking, what?
Mm.
Thinking, now she's not serious.
Serious,
So,
serious, serious.
are you really looking forward to that?
Yes, I am. I just want to be able to go to the beach when I want to, wake up when I want to. I don't want to have to clock in nowhere.
I
I
know
want to,
that feeling.
go get my little fruits. I miss my island fruits. I think you'll call it what, the Jamaican apple?
Yes.
We call it what we call it home. I forgot what we call it, but I wanted one of those. I was telling my mother I wanted one of those so bad the other day. I
Are you,
was just thinking about
are you talking about the red apple?
the
Because in
red
Jamaica
one,
they're
yeah,
red. Yeah.
with the big seed in it.
Hmm.
It's white on the inside.
Right.
Yes, I wanted one of those so bad. And she said, I don't even think they're in season. I said, no, but when I come, I'll be there for all the seasons. So I'll get my plums when they're in season.
Yeah.
I like Julie mangoes,
Yeah.
half ripe, and you cut them up and you put the salt and the pepper. Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I just want to end my days now relaxed.
Yeah. And
For I have
that
fought and struggled.
that gives me another vacation location.
Listen, everybody I've told that said yes. That's
Yeah. That
and you
gives
are
me
always welcome. You know that.
yes, that gives me another vacation location. I'll be there. Now, and I know I like this video because we're joking around. We're professional, but we're still joking
Mhm.
around. So, and that's what happened when you're just comfortable talking. Now, the Judith from a few years ago to today describe both Judiths for me.
Um, I used to be very hasty. I had no patience with
Hmm.
people or otherwise. I wanted stuff done my way all
Right,
the time or the highway. That's it. It has to be my way. I was, well, being able to juggle all these hats, I had to be a go-getter. So I'm
right.
always on the move, I got to do this. I have to do this. I need this done now. So, I would just set things in place and just go, 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 go.
Mhm.
Any obstacle in my way, you better move or else, I'm running over you kind of stuff. That used to be me. But now, especially since I've become a supervisor now, because I've been a supervisor for maybe like 7 years now.
Yeah.
And our group is an international group. We have
Hmm.
people that, from different ethnicities,
Hmm.
different personalities and stuff. And it has given me more patience,
Hmm.
because things that would irritate me before, I've just learned to take 2 deep breaths and keep it moving. And, just I'm able more to talk to people rather
Right.
than do this, do that, do that, do that.
Hmm.
I interact better with people now because now I guess it's because I have the time to listen.
Right.
I don't have to rush here. I don't have to rush to a game. I don't have to plan this. I don't have to do this. The kids are older. They've all grown. So I
Hmm.
have more time now to take in other things. So I'm able to be more calm now. And I guess that's why I'm also looking forward to retiring and going home. Now that I'm getting more calmer, now I'm ready to actually be at peace with myself and be more relaxed.
Well, I must say, congratulations on your planning to retire because you
Yes.
haven't retired yet.
No.
And pandemic or no pandemic, there has to be a retirement party, and I will be there. Yeah, there has to be a retirement party, and I will be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, you wear another hat for me, but I'm not going to say it right here, so you may not want me to say that. But you know, it's about that time, right?
No, what? No.
You can think.
I'm thinking, but I can't.
Okay. What's your
Huh?
job title? You know, I forgot. What's your job title?
Oh, you mean tax time?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gathering all my documents, trying to put them together.
You better hurry up.
I know because we don't want you leaving yet before I say, hey, here's my document. But you know what? In between, even in between that, you were blessed with two beautiful grandbabies.
Oh, yes. Oh, they're a trip and they're a joy. They're three now, and oh, the two of them. Right now, I don't know how their mother managing to keep them quiet for so long.
I
Now
tell
they
you,
be, ah, there we
they
go.
are keeping you young. They're keeping you young.
I don't know about that.
I'm telling you, they're keeping you
You
young.
see
They're
the
keeping you
greatness?
vibrant. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
when you
I'll
leave
talk to
them,
them. I'll talk to them on WhatsApp.
yeah, you'll be back. You'll be back more often than you think.
We'll see.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see.
So, Dr. Samal Ben, was a pleasure just talking to you today. We're going to have to do this another time. But before we leave, apart from retirement, what's next on the agenda?
I don't know. I still have yet to send my resume out because I do want to do a little lecturing online.
Yes,
So I really need to get around to send. I need to stop relaxing now because since I've graduated,
you
I'm
just
just
been
I'm
relaxing.
just chilling.
I was hoping that you would have jumped into the mental health program, but
Mm-mm. Diana, I am not going back to school.
I was hoping you would have jumped on the mental health program, but I can understand though.
Well, why would I do that? That's another what, 5 years of my life?
No, 2.5.
You see, you call them up.
I know, right? Yeah. But people, the thing about this program is to share our individual stories, no matter how small it may be. Someone could get motivated because
Mm,
the goal is to influence others, to move beyond barriers,
mm,
eliminate the limitation, because sometimes all the limitations that we have as to why we cannot complete or we cannot aim higher,
mm.
we create some of those limitations. So we want others to be motivated to remove limitation and to aim higher than expected. So, with that being said, give a few motivational, give a little bit of encouragement to those who are causing limitations
Mm.
to hold them captive.
It's all well and good, but I'm not going back to school, Diane.
I know.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
I
Uh-uh.
know.
I can't meet another deadline. I can't be writing
No,
nothing.
not for you. For our young people, for
No,
our
for young
young
people,
people who
yes.
are there, yeah, give them a few encouraging words and how not to, you know,
Oh, okay.
use the limitations because there are limitations, but not how not to use those limitations to hold them captive.
Um, what I could do is they need to have some type of faith.
Hmm.
I know not everybody believes, in what we believe in,
Right.
you know, but find some kind of faith to ground you,
Hmm.
and that will help you through any barriers. Get yourself a support circle. I'm not talking
Hmm.
about friends. I'm talking about, one or two people who would support you and help
Right.
you to, to go through whatever. Somebody you could call and say, look, I'm at my lowest point right now. And they if even they can't give you advice, they can
Hmm.
listen to you. And sometimes when you talk to somebody, you get an answer to your problem just talking.
Right.
So just don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Don't ever give up.
Hmm.
And I'm glad you mentioned a support circle because you and still is one of my support circle. I'm not gonna say you were, you're
Uh,
still one of my support circles. You,
Thank you, because you are mine too.
you're welcome. So we are still supporting each other, and and that's what it takes sometimes, all the times. Because walking, even me, walking into the PhD program, I thought I would have been able to do it on my own, but I quickly realized no. And had I listened, I would have known that from the first residency because one of the things they teach at the first residency is if you are here to network because you will need support system. You
Mhm.
cannot
Yes,
do it on your own. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And that's with everything that we are doing. Even this platform, I have to have a support system because there are days I'm a little bit discouraged because you cannot really find, you can't really secure participants.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, and then, somebody will say, what happened? I haven't seen any videos. Well, I can't find any participants. And my little friend would say, you met her because she rode up to Orlando with me when you were there celebrating the twins' first birthday. And
Mm-hmm.
she'll say, so you're going to ask just one, two, or three people and stop right there? Or you're going
Mm-hmm.
to, or you're going to keep networking, So with everything we're doing, we need a support system.
We do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we should always get someone who are focused as we are in the same mindset because sometimes our support
The same
system,
struggle, yes.
yeah, our support system can contribute to our failures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was a pleasure and it was nice to see you.
Yes, it was.
That was virtual.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
You're welcome. Now we can get your daughter to join us one day.
Ah, we'll see.
Okay. So until next week, this is Moving Forward Talk with Diana. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.